y'all. It's your girl, Ariza, licensed clinical social worker, test prep guru, and your personal hype squad. With over a decade of experience helping future LCSWs and lmsws, I've guided hundreds of test takers to crush their exam and achieve their goals. And now, guess what? It's your turn. So this is your one-stop shop. Tools, strategies, confidence, whatever you need to level up and pass your exam, I got you. No stress, no overwhelm. Here, we're just all about results. So let's dive in today. Today, we're going to be talking about operant conditioning. Yes. If you watched the previous video on classical conditioning, I broke it down and simplified it for you. Now your girl's back with another one on operant conditioning. So operant conditioning, let's start out. That is learning from consequences. Remember when we talked about classical, that was learning by association, but now we're learning from consequences. So imagine you're teaching your brain to do something based on what it happens after you do it. So you're trying to program your brain to think about what's going to happen after they do a specific action. That's what operant conditioning is all about. Here's how it works. You have the behavior, something you do, like maybe studying for an exam or a test, like you're doing right now for the LCSW or lmsw. The consequence is what happens after the behavior. Like, do you pass the exam or you don't pass the exam? Reinforcement is something that makes you more likely to repeat that behavior. So you have a positive reinforcement, you have negative reinforcement. Let's talk about those two for a moment. Positive reinforcement is adding something good, like maybe a praise for studying or being able to go out, have a drink, glass of wine, something that you're adding for praising your studying routine. Now, the negative one is taking away something bad, like maybe not being able to go out, not being able to hang out, not being able to use social media until you pass the exam. That would be a negative consequence. Let's break it down and talk about punishment now. Punishment is something that makes you less likely to repeat the behavior. And then also when it comes to punishment, you have positive and you have negative. So positive punishment would be adding something bad, like maybe extra homework or extra studying requirements, more stringent things like that. A negative one would be taking away something good, like losing TV time for not studying. See the difference? Positive, and then you have the negative. Now, there's a schedule of reinforcement, like how often the consequence happens after the specific behavior. That is the schedule of how often someone reinforces a specific behavior. The idea is that behaviors followed by good consequences are more likely to be repeated. You heard me, guys? The key is that behaviors followed by good consequences, they're more likely to be repeated, while those followed by bad consequences are less likely to be repeated. I hope you get what I'm throwing to you. So let's see if you can understand this a little bit. Let me test your knowledge on operant conditioning and see if you're able to understand this. So tell me here, which of the following is an example of negative reinforcement? A, getting a sticker for completing homework. B, losing video game privileges for not cleaning your room. C, being allowed to skip a chore for getting good grades. Or D, receiving extra allowance for helping with dishes. You got it? Yes, the correct answer is C, being allowed to skip a chore for getting good grades would be the example here. So again, C, being able to skip a chore for getting good grades would be an example of negative reinforcement. Does that make sense? All right, hopefully so. Let's move on to another one. Describe a real life example of operant conditioning and identity, right? So what would be the behavior? What would be the consequence? Now, whether it's reinforcement or whether it's punishment, can you break it down and understand the difference? What about whether it's positive or whether it's negative? These are things that you have to be able to provide examples for to see if you can truly understand it. I like to tell people this is a way of applying the knowledge you've learned. So we went over this. You have a little bit of an understanding, but you're not really sure until you have to apply it, whether you got it correct or not. An example scenario would be a child receives a gold star. That would be the consequence. Every time they clean their room, that is the behavior. So the gold star is the consequence and cleaning their room is the behavior. So you're able to see the behavior and the consequence. Now you just need to determine whether it's reinforcement or whether it's punishment or whether it's a positive or whether it's a negative. That I'm going to leave up to you. Put it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer, more happy to help you out. Make sure you really understand this and tune in so we can start that dialogue. Here is a tip that you must know for the exam. This is, if you don't take anything from this video, I want you to understand this. Remember, positive means adding something. Adding something, the plus sign, positive. Negative means removing something. So whenever you have a test question and you're dealing with operant conditioning, positive means adding, negative means removing. And you also want to focus on the outcome. Does the behavior increase, which is reinforcement, or does it decrease, which is punishment? I think I helped you get the answer to the last question. So make sure you practice identifying real life examples. Each type of example or consequence that you're providing will help you get more in tune to be able to understand and be able to apply what operant conditioning is all about. If this video was hella helpful, make sure you drop me a like, make sure you drop me a comment, make sure you say, hell yeah, you throwing it down. I appreciate it, and I'm catching what you're throwing, all of that good stuff. This video, again, was less than 6 minutes. So I hope I was able to keep your attention. I'm looking at my stats and I'm seeing that you guys are rocking with me for about 2-3 minutes. Then after that, I'm losing you guys. So let me know if it's something I can be doing differently, something how I can assist you with. That is what I'm here for. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I appreciate it, guys. Share it with a friend, and I see you in the next one. Be blessed.